It's November 28th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, the joelpearl.com on Blue Sky, and it's time to get in the weeds. A fantastical Friday for everyone, a Black Friday for all, and to all a good night. The emails came all at 9 a.m. Eastern. This deal's on, this deal's on, this deal. I got emails for flight deals. DC Shoes is having 30% off. I don't know. Check a bunch of computer stores selling me their IT refurbs. TV outlets, company I used to work for. Everyone's doing stuff. No one's giving away free stuff, though, except for Jeremy Lambert and I, because we're here. We're clear. It's Friday morning, and we come to work. How you doing, pal?
Very tired. I did not sleep well last night. I'm sure my energy will pick up, but I apologize if I have low energy this morning. It's a white Friday here. That's
wow. Well, I mean, where you live, that does make sense. It is Ohio, and
it's snowing outside. Like it's November, and there's like a bunch of snow on the ground. So that's my white Friday joke, because it's just snow outside. That's all it is. Bunch of snow.
We had all the snow yesterday in like blizzard form. Nothing stuck.
Yeah.
Back to normal today, which is great. Apparently on Sunday we're going to get snow again. They're saying like 60 centimeters in like the GTA, the greater Toronto area. And I'm like, not where we are, could tell you that much. The city itself probably won't have much.
Yeah. It's just snow. The kids want to go outside and play in it. Like, can we wake up? I'm just trying to, can we just wake up first?
Gotta take one of them sleeping pills.
I do. Not like, so I take melatonin, and that doesn't really help me, unfortunately, because I take, I don't remember what the milligrams are. I think they're like 10 milligrams, and I take 2 because 1 doesn't do anything, and 3 like gives me terrible dreams, I guess nightmares. So I got to take 2, but like it doesn't do enough for me. If anybody has recommendations on like a good sleep aid, it's got to mix with or it can't mix, I guess, or it has to mix well with my antidepressant. So that's the other thing, is like I can only take, because that's what 3 melatonin does. I think 3 doesn't mix well with my antidepressant, and so it just gives me like terrible dreams. So I got to find something that mixes with my antidepressant and also actually helps me sleep. And thus far, I have failed. And so I don't sleep well. And last night was a bad sleeping night, because like there was something like knocking, like dripping. Yeah, it was
strange.
I think it was like the fan was blowing something, and it was just, but it like kept me up all night, and I just didn't sleep well, everybody. So I'm sorry.
I
apologize.
When we got our kid his big kid bed, it's a loft style bed, so it's off the ground and it's got a slide on it. But at the beginning, he didn't know how to like live with that, so he would always like wake up either in the middle of the night or at random points, and he would like come down the slide and then come to our room, and he wouldn't know what time it is, because like 3-year-olds don't know what time it is. So there was one night where this was pretty far into like him getting normalized to this new bed that he was acclimated by now. And to make a long story short, I thought he was him coming into our room when I heard little squeaks. Turns out it was our door open just a crack, and a tiny breeze blowing the door open a bit. The door would close, open, and it was just creaks on the door. I was so upset when I figured that out, but it kept me up most of the night too.
Yeah, I think it was like the fan like blowing something, and then it would like roll back, and then it would just like hit something. And but I think we solved it, but we didn't solve it until this morning, and that's not helpful for last night and my sleeping of last night.
Also, you got to watch out with that melatonin. There was the study that came out that if you're a long-term user of melatonin, it could have negative effects on your heart. There's like a heart failure risk now if you're a long-term user. A review of 5 years of health records for more than 130,000 adults with insomnia who had used melatonin for at least a year found they were more likely to be diagnosed with heart failure and require hospitalization for the condition or die from it. So
that's fine.
You're like, well, at least I'll sleep better. Don't die. Did you just freeze? I thought you were just doing it for dramatic effect, but you had frozen.
Yeah.
Amazing. Don't die.
That's fine. Rather than saying Joel scared, like that doesn't scare me.
I was you're like, and you could die, and you're like, well, at least I'll sleep better.
Yeah, that's fine. Not a big deal to me. My heart fails. Whatever. Anyway, what are we perking up about today? As I talk about, yeah, sure. Let me just die.
Just let me lie down. We had a great show yesterday. Such a great show.
Allegedly.
My goodness.
I don't remember what happened. But so.
Tony Khan said nice things about us and then refused to be on our show.
Yeah. One day, maybe
it'll happen. And then he proceeded to book a Ring of Honor final battle with our prince all over it. As if we're the only people who actually watch Ring of Honor or pay attention to it. I do not watch it. I pay attention to it.
Wow. Joel just admitting he's a fake ROH fan.
Yes. I never said I was an ROH fan to begin with. Once upon a time, I loved Ring of Honor, and then they called themselves the company that moves people to WWE. And we were like, well, there goes that. They didn't care. But they announced some matches that were very much in tune with things that we had discussed, which I'm sure we were the only people who ever discussed them. So we'll just take the credit for it.
I don't remember what we discussed about Ring of Honor, so I'll take your word that these are things we discussed. Outside of Blake Christian winning the title, I don't remember what we discussed.
Mercedes working final battle.
Oh, okay.
And she is. I assume she got her GalaxyCon fee for that one instead of just the regular Ring of Honor fee.
Yeah, I assume she got something extra. That's what I said anyway.
Is she part of GalaxyCon? Like, is she doing a signing that was announced or anything?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. They would, because we would have been talking about that. We would have been reporting on that.
Would we have?
Yeah, I think between your news team and our conversation, we would have pulled that up.
I mean, people get announced for this stuff all the time. Like, there's a bunch of AEW people at WrestleCade this weekend. We didn't do like.
That's WrestleCade. GalaxyCon is not specifically a wrestling,
people do these cons all the time.
Yeah, but when Mercedes gets signed, you find out. You find out because all the Mercedes stands, the crew is like on it. They make sure you know.
Yeah.
You think the crew found out that she's working Ring of Honor yet? Because I don't know if they really pay attention to that.
Yeah, there's a few who were like, when they announced the world title match, they were like quote tweeting that and be like, no Mercedes match. Like, oh, not watching, no Mercedes. And then like an hour later, they look kind of dumb because the Mercedes match was announced. And they're like, oh, my bad, Tony. Thanks for
LOL JK, here's $10.
Thanks for announcing the Mercedes match. So yeah, there were people who were mad initially because there was no Mercedes match, and then didn't become quite as mad because the Mercedes match did get announced. So,
bless the people who get pre-mad.
Yeah.
It is the best kind of mad in my experience. Because at least if you're mad and you get to stay mad, then everyone else gets to join in on the mad that you started, and you get to be like, I was mad first, and they're like, all right, calm down, Jesus, you're the maddest, and you're like, yes, I am. That's for the people who really just want to be the most mad. That's the one you want.
Are you like Mojo Rawley out here? We don't get mad, we stay mad.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know what you could call me that's not Mojo Rawley, but I would be that.
Mojo Joel.
Mojo Rawler.
I like Mojo Raleigh. That's pretty good.
Mojo Pearly.
Nah, you can be a Raleigh.
I don't want to be a Raleigh.
They change your name anyway, so yeah, you can be a Raleigh. You can be Mojo Raleigh.
Paint my face and look in a mirror for several minutes.
Oh, yeah, that gimmick sucked.
Remember when they used to come out on stage during the commercials and then they'd have to cut them off halfway through because they were finished the commercials? And a bunch of wrestlers were like cutting these 4-minute promos trying to get heat. And meanwhile, the stage manager was like, oh, and we're back from break. You're done. And they just run to the back and be like, what did I do? They get heat for it. That was the best.
I don't remember this at all, but I'll take your word for it.
It's when they needed to get people on the show.
Okay.
You think Danhausen will make his annual Ring of Honor slash
No,
AEW appearance this year.
no, that's absolutely hilarious. That it's been since last year's final battle, right?
That's why I'm saying it. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was it? Hammer? Did he do Hammerstein?
yeah, because that's where final battle was held. It was
Yeah,
held in
yeah, yeah.
Hammerstein last year. I actually think it would be hilarious if they did do a Danhausen spot, and it's just like, remember this guy? We bring him back once every year, literally.
It's like, wait, why wouldn't you bring it back at Halloween? Because Christmas is just funnier.
Yeah. We forget by the end of the year that we used them, and it's like, oh shit, we gotta do the one Danhausen appearance, and we only have one event left to do it. So here we go. Here's Danhausen.
Chownridge in the chat saying the only AEW person doing a signing last I checked was Darby and Danhausen. So Danhausen could very well be appearing at Final Battle. And apparently Mark Henry canceled. So sorry, pal.
Okay.
There you go. Oh, well. So Danhausen will be at Final Battle. He should have been put in that main event, that survival of the fittest. He should win. He should win the AEW World Championship and be like, this is my way to get on TV again, right? And Tony being like, think again, pal.
Yeah, the AEW champion doesn't get on TV, or the ROH champion doesn't get on ROH TV.
That's right. Where do I defend it? Anywhere you want, just not here. Okay.
Yeah, he'll defend it on the Indies though. He's very active on the Indies.
Of course he would. It has to be a sanctioned match though. You don't want this to be like TNA and the IWGP tag titles. We don't want this.
I mean, it doesn't have to be sanctioned. You can just like do it and then deal with the consequences of nothing later.
C4 Wrestling is about to become like the ROH adjacent championship spot.
It'll be fun. Yeah, you don't gotta sanction nothing. It'll be okay.
I'm here to defend my title. Danhausen, you're not booked. Well, now I am. I have this belt. Wow, he got himself booked just by showing up with a belt. You have to grind. Anyway. Final battles next weekend.
We need Detective Danhausen still back.
I would pay big money just to have Detective Danhausen.
Yeah.
I would, even if he was an ongoing bit on the show where he just pops in. We're like looking at Goop on the internet, and he's just like, Detective Danhausen is here.
Joel does do a good Danhausen. That's probably his best.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Spend enough time around the man, you kind of figure it out.
Yeah, Detective Danhausen was one of our. I mean, we always have great ideas, but that was certainly one of our better ideas out there. He should. I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say he should investigate something, but I don't remember what the hell I was gonna say.
It's the case of my TV time. I'm gonna start telling people whenever I get a Black Friday email. I just got another one. Flair Airlines is up to 50% off. The downside is you have to fly Flair.
Like Ric Flair?
Woo! I mean, it's just as bad. The plane does go up and down, and sometimes it doesn't make it to its final destination on time.
Could you imagine if Ric Flair had his own airline?
And you do have to pay extra for literally everything on Flair. I don't know. I'm still looking into going to Winnipeg for February for the show that they're doing, Winnipeg Pro. No, I am, because it's actually fairly inexpensive, and there's a flight that leaves at 5 a.m. on Thursday. The show's on a Wednesday. I think we talked about this. It's on a Wednesday night, so instead of watching Dynamite, I can just go watch Winnipeg Pro Wrestling with a symphony orchestra.
Joel avoids AEW again.
Oh well, it's not that hard. I watched them last night. If I was in the States, I would have been able to use the excuse because TNA wasn't airing on Access. They had to show you Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Good. Probably drew more.
Do you know what time they aired TNA?
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang did?
TNA, what time did they air on Access? Sorry, what time did Access air TNA?
Oh, last night? It was midnight. I saw that, yeah.
Amazing. In Canada, they ran at the regular time, and no, I didn't watch because once I figured out that they were showing you 3 Ryan Nemeth matches.
That rules.
I thought it was
saw
2.
That.
I said 2 in our Discord, and Sarah, who's involved in our Discord, was immediately like, actually, it's 3. I was like, oh, hell no.
I saw that they did 3 Ryan Nemeth matches, and I was like, is this like the ultimate we give up show? Like, nothing screams fuck all of this like doing 3 Ryan Nemeth matches.
So here was the rundown according to Sarah. The Turkey Bowl match, Ryan Nemeth was in it. The Mr. Elegance promo, not a new one, by the way. It was the original one that we came across. The Hidden Gem match from 2 months ago. It was like the Order 4 versus the Rascals, I think, or something like that, which basically played into they're doing the Rascals versus Order 4 at Final Resolution. So that's the match. The Thanksgiving versus Christmas match, that's another Ryan Nemeth match. It was Ryan Nemeth in a turkey suit versus Krampus. And it wasn't someone from TNA in a Krampus costume. No, it was literally a wrestler named Krampus. So it was Florida. What do you expect? The Laying Lee backstage promo after she won the Knockouts title, a Joe Hendry concert from 4 months ago because Joe Hendry doesn't work there anymore. And apparently there was a big thing because he sang Creed with Jeff Hardy. The food fight segment from the 2007 Thanksgiving Impact, and then another Ryan Nemeth match. And a bunch of padding and self-advertisement.
Like the Creed thing was like funny because they actually just sang Creed, so I respect it.
Of course.
SP3 and I did it better, but I still respect it. But man, that was so poorly edited. Like you can't. Like they're showing members of the crowd who like just are half asleep and like literally yawning. Like they cut to this one dude who is like literally yawning during this. Oh. And then like they do the wide shot and there's like 50 people there. And like
because by the way, this was at a taping. They do it last. It was the very last thing of this taping.
Yeah. So I was gonna mention that. Like it was the last segment on a Rhode Island taping, and I know they did big business in Rhode Island, a whole like 200 people or whatever it was, but for the number 2 promotion. But like you can't just out yourself as being that cold and that like unsupported, I guess, to show. Again, I know this was from months ago, which means you've had plenty of time to edit this. And if you're going to air this, make it look like, you know, people are actually interested in it. But you cut to a person who is like literally like yawning and bored out of his mind during this segment. And yeah, there's like 20 people in the building by the time this segment happens. And like, oh man, I know no one watched this show. It was on at midnight on Axis. So I'm pretty sure it got like 2 viewers, but you still like there's clips online and everything, and you make your promotion just look so just cold and weak when it's like, hey, here's basically the most entertaining thing on this show, and one guy doesn't work here anymore, and it looks like no one cares about either of these 2 guys. Who were arguably, I mean, not even arguably, who were at the time 2 of the biggest 3 stars in the company. And like no one cares about this dumb little segment that they did.
Can't say I'm surprised. Huz is asking, when is Final Battle? It is Friday. Next Friday. Yeah. It's next Friday along with SmackDown and along with TNA Final Resolution. So get ready for a busy Friday. Cyclops better than Wolverine. By the way, we'll get to the thumbs up and everything in a second. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. I have a question. Why does TNA hate TNA so much? It's funny because it used to be like TNA cares, but their ownership doesn't. But like Access put them on at midnight, but TNA still aired that show. That was their company's decision to air that program.
It's a dumb promotion.
Dumb promotion. And you know what? We'll see where it goes in 2026. Not far. Hey, while you're here, go far and leave a thumbs up on this video, would you? We bring out the pyro and the ballyhoo just for you on a Black Friday. And also, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. And donate a super chat like Cyclops just did. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. Jeremy, update. I got another email for Black Friday. This one from the Furniture Depot. Up to 70% off. A sofa bed, $500. Blue or beige.
Sofa bed.
Sofa bed. And get a Railwood coffee table for $199. These are all Canadian, by the way. or a Wendy desk in glossy white. Don't ask me what that is because I found this in my spam folder. Oh, it is a cross-section desk. That's not bad. Show people what this desk looks like that I'm not going to buy. Take a look. There you go. Here is the Wendy desk. There it is in a decor. Okay. No, I don't want to talk to you, chatbot. Go away. Anyway, there you go. If you want the Wendy desk from FurnitureDepot.ca, it is $199. That's Canadian.
Looks just like a plain old desk to me. I don't know.
I like the cross section. That's nice. Can you eat Wendy's on it? You can eat whatever you like. It'll work. Okay. Anyway, that's Ring of Honor. They're going to be running next Friday at the GalaxyCon. Blake Christian's going to win that title, and we're going to be over the moon. If he comes out to Love It On Me, we know what's happening. If that match is the final match of the night and not the Persephone match, we know there's a new world champion in ROH.
I don't think it's going to be the final match of the night.
Oh, Roosh wasn't going to win.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think anybody's going to win. I think Bandito's going to win. So
wow.
I mean, I'd love for Blake Christian to win, but like it was going to be Roosh. Roosh was going to be in this match, but then he had the knee injury, and so he's not in this match. And so then they just did the survival of the fittest. I don't feel like they're going to change the title here.
But what if they do, Jeremy?
I mean, cool, but Tony really likes Bandito for good reason. Bandito does roll. It just doesn't feel like he's going to lose the title in a survival of the fittest match to any of these guys. Like, I mean, I hope it's Blake Christian. I don't think it's going to be Blake Christian. I don't think it's going to be Hechicero. I don't think it's going to be Commander, Beast Mortos. It might be Sammy Guevara, actually.
So what are they doing with the tag titles then? Because they're going to announce it tonight, I know.
Yes.
But like both Sammy and Beast Mortos are in this six-way.
I hope Sammy just has to do double duty
again. Every Ring of Honor show should be Sammy does double duty.
Sammy Guevara being like a 3-time ROH tag team champion, but like never losing them because he won them with Dustin, but then they were technically vacated, so he won them with Roosh, and now they should technically vacate them again, and he should win them with like Jorlistico, and then so he's a 3-time ROH tag team champion, but he like never lost the title.
So allegedly Jorlistico is also injured. He had posted something on his socials a while ago about trying to get some scans for something. Don't know if that means he's out. It could have just been precautionary, but like he had posted something a while ago on his socials about needing to get checked out. So could be something, could be nothing. It's just very much like, yeah, Roosh is hurt, so he's not working the show on next Friday. So here's a bunch of guys who will. Yay! Very strange.
Yeah. It's a show. I'll watch it, and that'll be that.
Well, you'll watch it because you're contractually obligated to watch it.
I'm not contractually obligated to. I can do what I want. I'm not watching the beginning of it because I have plans. So I'll watch the rest of it, and then maybe I'll go back and watch the beginning. But I'm like contractually obligated to watch any of this stuff. For all you know, I don't actually watch any wrestling. I just check all the highlights and check what the news is supposed to be. And that's that.
Are you me?
I mean, maybe.
Nice. Can you pick up my kid today?
I mean, I'll be very late.
It's fine. I mean, I feel like if you get a move on and start driving, you might arrive just in time to pick him up.
Well, we got to do this show, so I can't
get in the car. Do it as you drive.
I've done the show while I've driven before. My wife has held the phone for me.
Get one of those holsters and put it on the vent.
Yeah.
Just,
I'm way too tired for that, so it probably wouldn't end well. And
yeah, we don't want that to happen.
My heart will fail as I drive, and then it'll just be double duty of bad.
What's gonna get you first, the melatonin or the car crash?
It won't be good at all. So.
Yeah, for those listening, I'm not reporting anything about Jalisco being hurt. I'm just saying he posted to his socials that he was getting checked out for something. He was getting scans done a little while ago. So what that means is completely up to interpretation and whether or not he's at the show next Friday. If he's okay, then he'll most likely be there and hopefully be a part of the show. But otherwise, it looks like he could possibly not.
Yeah.
It'd be funnier if the Von Erichs won the tag titles. Just finally do that.
I mean, they probably should at this point. I hope the frat house wins.
I'd be fine with that. It's mostly honestly, I think the Von Erichs might just win because they're in action tonight on the show. So they might parlay whatever they do into getting a tag team title match.
No, okay.
Oh yeah, Nick Wayne still has the TV title.
Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday, that they didn't do an ROH interim TV championship, but they did a interim women's television championship. And I was confused because I thought Mina was only out for like 2 weeks, but I forgot she was actually the interim champion. Red Velvet was out for a while, but I mean, Nick Wayne's been out just as long as Red Velvet was out, so why aren't they doing an interim title? They announced that interim women's title like real shortly after Red Velvet got hurt. Nick's been out since July, and they haven't announced anything.
Why are they sorry, I'm watching the WrestleMania women's video.
No, okay.
They're all sitting at a table. They're all saying hello to each other. There's a chef cooking them a fancy dinner. Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Charlotte, Becky, Rhea. I saw Liv Morgan, I think. There's Io Sky. They're sitting down. There's martinis. They are dry martinis. They're all putting I'm sure there's someone talking over this, and I think it's Triple H. And it's literally they sat down.
We gotta confirm that it's Triple H.
Did you say you gotta confirm, or you do have a confirm?
Yeah, no. I gotta confirm that Triple H has to be part of this. I hope it's Stephanie, actually. That's much funnier. Oh, no, Triple H is still pretty funny.
It is Triple H. I just turned it off for 2 seconds.
Of course,
and I heard a man's voice, and there can only be one man who says, "Shaken, not stirred," or whatever.
Is that what he says?
No. Just
yeah, I'm listening.
It's him.
It's him.
You have to be prepared for anything. Why are they eating dinner? All the men get to like sit down, have a smoke, have a whiskey, and play cards, and it's like, oh, let's have a dinner date. It's a dinner debonair. They're all gonna start breaking out in the song in the next video. Ridiculous.
They love to be cinema, like.
Do they ever? Last week's SmackDown proved that shit.
Like this ad is just. I'm not sold on going to WrestleMania because of these ads. You know
Is someone gonna cook me dinner at WrestleMania? Like,
I mean, if you pay enough, yes.
I was gonna say probably if I pay enough, or like honestly, if I go as media, yeah, they'll serve us dinner in the press box. But other than that, no one's making my dinner for me to go to Mania.
It's not like that, but like they're just like sitting around doing nothing. Same with the men's ad. It's like, okay, you're sitting at this poker table. Cool. Like, it doesn't do anything to like. This does not scream just pro wrestling. It screams it doesn't scream anything. It
screams attempted bank heist movie, but it's not well thought out. It screams Ocean's 14.
I don't know. It's I don't think these ads really do anything, but whatever. They like doing them. They got the money to do them because they don't pay the wrestlers enough, and that's it.
Just a nice dinner. Gray saying the press dinner is lunchly in a smaller prime bottle of Halloween size Snicker bar. I have to say, so I mentioned this back in April when I went, but like they did serve us a proper good meal both nights at WrestleMania, but that's more Allegiant Stadium than it is WWE. Like it's all part of the Allegiant experience, if you will. And it was a very good meal both nights. One night was Chinese food, and the other one was taco bowls. They were delicious. Listen, shout out to the Allegiant field staff. They know how to cook some wonderful dishes. So I can't complain about that. But if WWE ever got to the point where they're giving me a Lunchly and a Prime bottle and a Snickers bar, buddy, I'm out. Walking away. That's it.
My, that sounds good. You know,
For a meal at a 7-hour
Yeah.
wrestling event? No, it does
Yeah.
not. Especially because they get you there at like 2 o'clock for a show that starts, so late.
You get what you get.
And you don't
get
get
a
upset.
Lunchly. You get a Lunchly and a Prime.
Jesus. Get a Prime. Get Triple H talking about all the sports betting. That's the only thing the WWE hasn't done yet is take on a sports betting sponsor, have they? I mean, even AEW's got DraftKings.
Yeah, AEW has DraftKings.
But they don't do it on the results of the match. Their whole thing is like all the other stuff, right?
Yeah, like finishers and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know. I can't I use DraftKings, but I can't do any like wrestling betting on Draft. If I can, I haven't looked far enough into it because I don't care to bet on wrestling.
Neither do I, but Ryan, I did think about that for night 2. If I wasn't in Vegas, if I was literally anywhere else, I would have done some Tupperware action on that. That would have been very funny. I should have had our pal Adrian Hernandez. Should have been like, "Hey, buddy, bring Tupperware for the next one. We'll just take it all home. See if they notice. Put it in our bags." Does Fanatics have their own betting thing?
Fanatics has sports betting. I don't WWE doesn't push the betting side stuff. The WWE just pushes the apparel side of things.
Yeah, I think they want to be more family oriented. I see Sean saying WWE had DraftKings in 2021.
No, okay.
So if they did that, then they probably got away from it once TKO came around and was just like, let's do more family stuff, and UFC can be where people bet on the matches or the fights, and then WWE will just be where people pay exorbitant fees for all the tchotchkes that we sell, be it shirts or belts or lunch boxes and all the other shit that we make.
I don't think wrestling has gotten scrutinized with betting because it's not legal in the United States. It's if you do have an offshore account, or if you have in the UK, I'm pretty sure if you have a VPN, you can do betting and everything. So, but in the United States, it's not this prominent thing, and I think that's why it hasn't gotten scrutinized, because it's technically not legal, or they just don't do it. Because there was that talk, it was a year or so ago, year and a half ago, of them potentially doing it, and they would hide the results or freeze the results or whatever, and they were gonna take all these measures to do it and everything. And it's this just sounds like too much work, and it can all change on a whim anyway. Triple H doesn't know what he's gonna book for WrestleMania right now. What are you gonna do? Bet on the main event of WrestleMania, and they put the results in a safe out there, and then you open it up after WrestleMania and be like, "See, we told you this was going to be the result. We didn't change it or anything." It's that's probably not true. So I think that's why it just hasn't become a thing. But you can do the betting again if you have an offshore, or if you have a VPN and you go to one of these websites. I don't care enough to do all of that.
We used to joke about it all the time, how suddenly the lines would change and you would know that it's Bruce Pritchard putting in his money at the last second. We used to talk about that all the time on the show. And that's the way it is. Keep your eyes on Bruce. He came back to work this week, I saw.
Oh yeah, he was on. Yeah, he did his podcast again. I was about to say he's been at work allegedly, but yeah, he did the podcast to this. I guess it came out yesterday. I listened to it. It was fine.
They just talked about, like you said, the Hogan legacy. Zeno, I was saying, I hope Sean sends Jensen to Mania with Joel. He's not. I don't think Sean's sending me to Vegas this year. Or if he does, it's not going to be for nearly as long as I did this past year. I don't know. That's a long way away, that April. And thankfully, it's not like a holiday this time, because last year it was Easter weekend, and doesn't affect me, but it was the beginning of Passover too. So that was also a little weird feeling. Yeah. So yeah. Someone asked me from Feifel's going to Saudi for the Rumble. None of us.
We're way too far in this show. Hold on. Okay, so I have the banner. I apologize. It does spoil SmackDown. So if you don't want, and it's actually a legit spoiler, not like what I did for Full Gear when I did the Tony Khan bit. It is a legit SmackDown spoiler, everybody. I guess there's no way to avoid it because I don't know. Close your eyes and listen to the show like audio form. Don't look at the screen. So if you really care,
remember that tomorrow is also War Games. So like, really, who cares? We're not spoiling War Games out of this. Well, no more than you would expect.
The poll question for today does have to do with War Games, though, and it is just, what are you most looking forward to at Survivor Series? Most looking forward to at Survivor Series. We have the men's War Games. Oh, I already spoiled Charlotte winning on Monday. Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah, we did that. It's fine. I love it. Thank you, Alexa Bliss Gamer. You would be the person to tell us.
Women's War Games. Vaker, Bella, and Cena, Dominic. Those are the only 4 matches, so pretty simple. Simple poll. We only have 4 options, so those are the 4 options. You can vote on the poll question. Legit poll questions this week or today, not a fake one. At least today, you know. So there you go. There's the poll question for everybody, and yeah, there's the spoiler.
Yep.
Sorry, or not sorry.
They're probably not going to add any other matches to that event.
Yeah, I don't think they're anything because War Games they typically just do 4, right? Because they just do the they open with a War Games, they have 2 matches in between, and then they close with the War Games. That's typically how it goes.
Last year there were 5. They did add 1 more.
Were they? What was added late last year?
They had Shinsuke versus LA Knight for the United States title. That was a 10-minute match they added. Braun Breaker and Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser for the Intercontinental. The world title match was Gunther, Damian Priest, and then there were the 2 War Games matches.
Okay. What about the year before? Was there 4 or 5?
That year was 5.
All right.
The short match was Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee. So it's not like they're putting on fiery matches. They're just one little, small match. Rhea Ripley, Zoe Stark for the women's title. Gunther and Miz for the Intercontinental, and then the 2 War Games matches.
I'm trying to think of like what they could add to this. Do you do like a? You do like
there were 5 matches last year too, in 2022.
Okay, well, what could possibly be added to this show that they've actually set up?
Who's the U.S. champion? We do this all the time. Who's the current U.S. champion?
Oh, Dragunov? You can do like a Dragunov open challenge?
Because I don't think he has an open challenge on tonight's show.
Yeah. Is this where you finally do Dragunov and Ciampa? Like you could just
throw it on the show, I guess. Yeah.
I can't think of I don't think they're gonna go back to like Priest and Black. I don't know if they do that.
Let me take a quick look. Do they do a Dragunov? Yeah, Dragunov doesn't do another match tonight.
No, he doesn't do an open challenge tonight. I feel like there's a Survivor Series elimination match tonight. I feel like that's gonna be a pretty long match. So.
I wonder if maybe they'll do the tag match, the tag titles, the SmackDown tag titles. But I'm not going to spoil more of tonight's show. But they could do a 6-man, or they could do a tag title match tonight.
They do Wyatt's and MFTs.
Yeah, because they're closing in on that. It could be.
I don't know. Wyatt's might be at AAA tonight.
Are they working? Yeah, I know that match is coming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on. Well, they might be. I guess Survivor Series is tomorrow, so even if they're there tonight, you can show up tomorrow. Like they can still show up.
Yeah, they've got tonight's.
Yeah, maybe they do MFTs and Wyatts in a 6-man tag.
Oh yeah, the AAA match is Pagano and Psycho Clan versus American Made tonight.
No, I understand that, but that doesn't mean like the Wyatts can't show up. That's what I'm thinking. I think they might show up to the show tonight, but
they just do a video.
And that's what they've been doing. But even if they show up tonight, that doesn't mean they can't fly into San Diego tomorrow and still do some type of match. I wouldn't do Jade and Chelsea. I think that's a dumb match to book, period, much less throw it on this show with a 2-segment build.
And you've got your women's world title match that already has some people, there are very different ways. People are kind of nervous about that match for the right reasons.
I think if it's anything, it could be Wyatt's against MFTs, or it could be a Dragunov Open challenge. I actually like the idea of a Dragunov Open challenge.
Yeah,
So
why not? Put it on a
people
pay-per-view.
people can, see what that's all about. And Dragunov's somebody who also can get a really good match out of anybody in a short period of time. And if it's like Ciampa, because that's what they've been building, that's certainly helpful. So yeah, I would probably go with a Dragunov Open challenge if they're gonna do anything. They might just keep it at 4. And
Listen,
might not go to 5.
this is a very busy War Games match for aura farming.
Yeah. Both of these War Games matches are gonna get a lot of time, like a lot of time.
Yeah. So it feels like you could just do that, and it'll be one War Games match to open, and then one of the singles matches, and then the other singles match, and then the other War Games match. Like you could just do it, bookend the War Games matches.
Well, they're gonna book in the War Games matches. They always book in the War Games matches.
They could, but like part of me is like maybe John Cena could be the main event. I get it, he couldn't but it's John Cena. He could do it and make an angle out of John Cena, but that's also if Dominic should beat John Cena in the main event of Survivor Series. Is really what I'm getting at.
Cena main eventing is fine with me, but like they ain't doing that. They always book in with the War Games matches. It's literally how they lay out this show every single year.
I know. I don't expect it to be any different.
Yeah, they're not changing it up.
Lawrence is telling us there is a Goop podcast. Well, tell you what, tomorrow I'll drop the Goop chat from our Wednesday show. I think it's tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or Sunday. If you haven't noticed yet, the weekend is like a free-for-all of clips and stuff that we did or didn't talk about.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. We try to drop 2 or 3 clips from each episode, and then other stuff gets scheduled at different times. There's usually a 7 a.m. Almost every day there's a 7 a.m. drop. Then I try for at least a 2:30, always a 5 o'clock, and then maybe an evening, whether it's late or if it's before the wrestling shows start. There you go. Peek into my world. And then weekends are like a 9:01 and maybe a 7.
LabGlass saying, how pissed is ESPN going to be after this event?
I don't think they will be. They got all the legacy stars that they want out of this show. They've got John Cena. They've got Punk. They've got Lesnar. They've got even Logan Paul to a certain degree. They got Roman Reigns. Like everyone there on the women's side. They've got Rhea. They've got AJ Lee. They've got Charlotte. They got everyone. I don't think they should be angry. I think they should be angry if the show just plain sucks.
Well, so I listened to ESPN president Burke Magnus he was on Jimmy Trainer's podcast, the SI Media podcast, and he was asked about the WWE relationship, and of course he's saying it's great, and like he did praise like WWE sends their talent to do our shows, like they really care, and I believe all that. I mean, you see who Nikki was on a show this week, Heyman was on a show, Drew is on a show this morning, CM Punk was on a show. Like they do a lot of the crossover stuff, and WWE has been very good about getting their talent on the ESPN shows, certainly the week of a pay-per-view, if not even like throughout other weeks that aren't pay-per-view weeks. But he said something very curious when he was like talking about the events. And like he didn't give numbers, and I mentioned this on the show months ago after WrestlePalooza. I was like, they didn't put out a press release touting like the biggest event of all time, the most watched, whatever. It was WrestlePalooza is literally going to be the most watched WrestlePalooza of all time because it was the first, unless you want to count the ECW, but it was obviously going to beat that. So it was always good, but they didn't put out like any type of press release for that. I was like, that's odd. And so when Burke is talking about not necessarily the viewership, but just like kind of how the deal is going is like, we've had WrestlePalooza, and that was the first event of its kind. That was the first WrestlePalooza. And then we had the show in Saudi Arabia, so that was on like an off time for the pay-per-views. And it's like, we're really interested.
Saudi Arabia anyway, so.
What?
Which, by the way, it wasn't Saudi. It was actually Australia, but anyway.
He said it was Saudi.
He said it was international. He said Saudi, but it was Crown Jewel. It was in Australia.
Oh, did he say Saudi?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said Saudi.
Oh, I thought he said Saudi as well, but he could have literally just said international, and I put the wrong words in his mouth, and I apologize for that. I'll get his actual quote. I don't want to misrepresent what he said.
No,
He did say the Middle East. So there you go.
Well, there you go. Australia down in the Middle East.
Yes, yeah. So I was like, yeah, we've had 2 PLE pay-per-views today. One was in the Middle East, so it was an off hour. WrestlePalooza was new. Survivor Series this weekend is going to be a really good measuring stick for how it's going. So he's basically saying the PLE, the Australia pay-per-view was but it's fine. It was on an off hour. WrestlePalooza was but it's fine. It was a new pay-per-view, a new concept.
Not a legacy pay-per-view.
Yeah, but Survivor Series is, this is a big 4 pay-per-view, so it needs to be going well. And I don't know. I don't know if it's going to...
Picking the historically least important legacy pay-per-views to really make a point.
Yeah, in some ways, yeah.
They pushed this so quickly because they wanted to get the app out. They want to get the bugs out. They don't have all the deals set either. So like all the stuff that they were talking about with the ESPN app was like all of these partners that they have and how you're not going to have to shell out $30 if you're connected to literally any of the services that they had promoted as you're already on. So you don't have to pay. Well, it turns out you don't have to pay because the deals aren't done. And as of, 11 or 10:52 on the 28th of November, YouTube TV still isn't partnered with this app. So you don't get it for free. You still have to pay another $30 for this pay-per-view if you want it. Or you can use a VPN and get it, through Netflix, which is what I would suggest doing.
YouTube TV didn't they reach an agreement? ESPN and YouTube
If they
TV?
did, it's not until next year. That's the other part of it, is because they rushed it so hard. Their whole thing was WrestleMania next year. That was their whole plan, was like this big WrestleMania launch, and maybe they could have launched at Rumble with all the deals in place, but instead, for some reason, everything got pushed to August, which was just absurd. Like, why would you do that? Or September, I guess. They announced the deal in August, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, September 20th, we're going to do it. You're going to what? And they didn't have any deals in place other than the very basic. So yeah, they kind of rushed themselves into this predicament. And now that ESPN's saying, their line is, oh, well, Survivor Series, that'll do it. And it's like, historically, in the last 17 years, Survivor Series hasn't really meant much. People don't really care that much. So,
yeah, but I mean, they're trying. They're definitely trying to make it mean something this year with the people.
I mean, I guess they are. They're putting on their all-star War Games match, but a lot of people want to see stakes with it. They just don't want to see. They want to see the wrestlers that they like. Yeah, I mean, I get it. We're in our bubble. I get it. We're in our bubble. We want to see more. Some people just want to see their favorites because they want to see their favorites live up in person. But I think for on a larger scale, people want to see a reason to come and see these people other than, they're there. But I don't know.
The thing is WrestlePalooza, they're like, oh, it was a new event. Okay, sure, but you put on Brock Lesnar and John Cena. You put on Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. You put on AJ Lee's first match in over a decade with Punk, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch on there. You had star power on that show. You have very similar star power to that show compared to this show. The additions here are Roman, Logan. Those are kind of the biggest. Nikki, I guess Nikki wasn't on WrestlePalooza, so I don't think she was anyway. Because Vacker and Io was the women's title match. So those are the big additions: Roman, Nikki, and Logan. Which, okay, that's still pretty big names out there. But is that any bigger than AJ Lee's first match back? And granted, that one, which is their own doing, mind you, granted that show did go up, not against All Out, but on the heels of All Out. And so there's a very real possibility that people were wrestling burned out by that point. But that was completely their own fault. I'm not, I'm not saying, I'm not using this as an excuse for being like, oh, well, people were watching All Out all day, and maybe that's why the show wasn't as good. It was their own damn fault. They decided to put the show on that day at that time. So they got no excuse on there. Survivor Series, I don't care what it does. I have the ESPN Unlimited. Is it worth $30? I don't think any of these streaming services are worth more than, $5-10, but it is what it is. Do I think it's a good service? Do I get a lot out of it? Yeah, I actually do. I use it all the time for hockey. I watched some basketball on it the other night, and yeah, I watch college football on it. Like, I think it's a good app, and I get the wrestling pay-per-views on it. So I put it to use, but I also know a lot of people, they don't want to pay the $30, and like, you're not grandfathered in on a lot of the services, and just becomes a pain in the ass. So I understand all of that. It does crash like every intermission of a hockey game, which is super annoying. Like, without fail, every intermission it'll just freeze and crash. I'm like, ugh. At least it's the intermission. It's not happening in the middle of the game. It's just hilarious that like it lines up to every intermission to crash.
I assume it's because they're switching away from the arena feed, and whatever it does, that causes some sort of
But
like,
no,
corruption.
no. What do you mean switching away from the arena feed? It's not the arena feed. Like, you get like the broadcast feed.
You're getting the that's even dumber.
Why?
Well, no, then it shouldn't be crashing. That's even
Well, oh yeah, because I watch like the altitude feed
Yeah.
for all the Avs games. Like, it's basically the altitude broadcast of the game. Yeah, so it shouldn't
maybe
crash.
somebody's. I don't know what's going on there. Unless there's somebody there like switching off the YouTube or not YouTube, the ESPN app feed accidentally.
It's just so annoying that like literally every intermission it just decides to crash. Will, I'm with you. $30 if you're only watching the WWE pay-per-views on it, too much.
Yeah.
At that point I'm using Netflix VPN and going with that because it's a much cheaper option. But I use the ESPN app for much more than wrestling, so $30, again, is it worthwhile? No. ESPN Select was or ESPN Plus. This is ESPN Unlimited. ESPN Plus was like $10, and it got basically the same thing as ESPN Unlimited is. It's the same fucking app. All they added was WWE pay-per-views, but it's like, okay, you couldn't have just done that and kept the same price. Now I do have like the bundle, so it's like Hulu and ESPN and Disney, although Disney and Hulu are the same thing at this point. And it's all $30 for that. So it's effectively ESPN and Hulu for $30, which isn't terrible, I don't think. But it's also like, come on, it's way too much. All this shit's way too much.
It is, and like I can see people in the States, if you have to make the choice between $50 or even if you've got HBO Max, $40 for like an AEW pay-per-view standalone versus the ESPN Unlimited for $30 and all you're watching is wrestling, I could honestly see anyone picking the AEW pay-per-view over the other. It is longer. There are fewer commercials. There's more just action.
Oh, you
For
get
that,
yeah,
like you get more on an AEW pay-per-view for
way more.
as much as we have our feelings about how long the shows are when you do a one-to-one comparison. No, the answer is absolutely you go with the AEW pay-per-view for those reasons alone. So it's frustrating if you're in the States and like you don't use a VPN and you're being asked to shell out a lot of money for something that you shouldn't. Meanwhile, again, like I'm lucky that all of my broadcast rights for WWE are in Canada, therefore it's on Netflix. And having it on Netflix means I'm paying sub $10 Canadian per month to access all of WWE's program. SmackDown, Raw, NXT, PLEs, NXT PLEs, and then I get to watch Saturday Night's Main Event for free because it's on YouTube anywhere across the world. So, and then I can watch the Saturday Night's Main Event on like 2x speed because it's YouTube. So I can start it late and catch up, and having not missed a thing, I can watch the show faster because it's Saturday Night's Main Event. It's full of, I mean, not anymore so much because they moved away from NBC, but like it was chock full of ads for a long time. So my favorite thing
It's still going to be chock full of ads though.
No, the last one was better. The last one they got a lot more straight to the action than they did ads. They did a lot less like breaking, because this is a good example, but nobody has this. So for anyone who uses a sponsor block on their YouTube like I do, sponsor block is like a community what's the word? It's community led Jesus Christ, what's the word I'm thinking of? Extension on your browser if you use something like Chrome, where you go to all of these videos, and if they have a sponsor, you can actually click to start the sponsor the sponsor spot and stop it, and then it alerts everyone, hey, this is a sponsor spot, you can skip it, or it automatically skips it for you. So there was one episode of Saturday Night's Main Event that I watched a couple days late. Someone had already gone through with sponsor block and blocked out and there's so much green. Like if you look on the timeline for that YouTube, it was like green, 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 green. Every felt like 4 minutes there was some sponsor block. So it's not like that anymore. It's gotten better, but it's still there. There are still ads. It's just much fewer than it was before when they were on NBC.
Okay. I just assume it's all ads all the time.
That's why you got to get a VPN and go to Canada. Yeah. Save the money. Save the hassle. Save the money. Anyway, Joel bragging about Canada again. We are a superior nation. It's true. In many ways, shapes, and forms. Not all of them. I don't think ESPN was expecting more from WWE. I think that both sides are just a victim of poor planning. They both had plans to launch next year, and instead they saw an opportunity to start it early, and they said, sure, let's go for it. We'll make money off of it, but they're not making the money that they thought they were going to make because the deals aren't done. That's it. When the deal starts, I think WrestleMania and even the Rumble, those will be the real starters for ESPN, looking at the deal and looking at the numbers and seeing if the deal was actually worth it for them. Because I'm sure WWE sold them as much as they could on the idea, but whether or not ESPN viewership is something that is positively affected, that's going to be the big conversation starter for those two.
I think ESPN probably was expecting more, because I think all of these companies are expecting more. All these platforms. I mean, you look at the Netflix deal, you look at the USA deal, you look at the Peacock deal, and all this stuff, and like you're expecting a good viewership and a consistent viewership, and they get a relatively consistent viewership, but it also drops year to year and month to month. I think there's a reason why Saturday Night's Main Event just got completely moved off of NBC instead of at least keeping that part of the deal, even though they did the Peacock deal, they finished that up early. Netflix, I mean, from the first show to now, like half the audience is gone. And that spiked up this last show because it was seen as last Raw, but what are the numbers going to be next week with a not John Cena show? Probably back to the same old 2.4, 2.5 that they've been doing. SmackDown's at about a 1.2 every single week, and it dropped under 1 million the other week. Granted, that I think that one was up against the World Series, but like real sports are always going to take precedent over all of this stuff. But when they sign these deals, you know, they're expecting probably a stronger audience than WWE actually delivers, honestly. Because I just don't know. I don't know fully, you know, how invested WWE fans are into like paying for all of this stuff. It feels like so much of the WWE audience is fine with watching and living this stuff through like online clips and everything, because they do huge numbers on like YouTube and socials and everything. It feels like a good majority of the audience is like, I'll just wait the 5 seconds until the show goes up on socials. And like, that's fine, you know? They tout those numbers as well. But it does feel like the Netflix numbers, the USA numbers, the CW numbers are down year over year. Everything, like they should be expecting more because they deliver these big numbers at the start and they tout those numbers, certainly. But then 2 months later, that audience is cut by 25% and it doesn't really return unless it's a one big show to return to.
And so watch it on Netflix. It's cheaper. That's really all it means. It's all you need to do. And then get AEW on Triller Plus for $5 if you go to Romania and sign up there. See? Saving you money.
A couple things of how much time they have left on the deal with Peacock. It was supposed to be up the beginning of next year. And that's when they signed the ESPN deal, because the Peacock deal was supposed to end before WrestleMania next year. And They ended it early for whatever reason you want to believe, because there's certainly
Those are
there's
all of our dates.
yes, there's reasons they say, and then there's other theories out there. But yeah, it was supposed to end, I think, February, March of next year. And it's in your question. You compare Triple H NXT, compare the main roster. It's night and day. What went wrong? More talent, more time to fill, more people telling you what to do and everything. It's not necessarily of a what went wrong. There's just a whole lot more factors that you have to factor in that weren't a thing in NXT, because in NXT, Vince was running all the main roster stuff. So Triple H would be like, I want to sign Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura, and we're the cool, hip, like, indie fed, but we got WWE ties. And Vince's like, sure, what? I don't care what you do. Sure, do
You're on
all
the
that.
network. Go have fun.
Yeah, you're on WWE Network. Do all that. Now, again, you have way more talent to try to acquiesce here. You have multiple networks trying to tell you what they do and do not want. You have sponsors to appease with everything. You don't have kind of do on Netflix. You just do what you want. But like, you don't have like the unlimited time of everything. You do actually have to like travel for these shows, and you got to fill buildings with these shows and everything. It's a whole lot more than just like, let's book things. Because if it was just booking, yeah, there is a kind of a night and day difference. But not to like fully defend Triple H here, because his booking questions or his booking is very questionable with a lot of things, and there's stuff that seems very cold that I do not care about, and I think there's a lot of things that he has screwed up this year. I give him some of the benefit of the doubt of, compared to NXT, it's a whole different ball game trying to do main roster stuff. And he spends too much time at the White House.
Also, let's not pretend that NXT Black and Gold was perfect in every way. Like, there was shit on that, show as well.
Yeah, it just looked better because the main roster was so damn terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it was a process of timing. So it is what it is if you are Izzy Dame. But he had a completely different approach. He was also starting at the time. This was his first foray into booking anything. So look at Shawn Michaels, right? When Shawn was starting to book NXT, and people would point out all the times he would book his own angles, but with the new talent, he could do that because everything old is new again. You're putting different characters in the same scenario, and it's presented similarly but different. So people kind of see they see the connections, but they're not seeing that it's a direct ripoff of something that he had experienced on a creative level. Triple H was doing a lot of those things when he started with NXT, and he had a lot more freedom, like Jeremy said. So as a result, he was able to focus on more booking and less all the other things that come with the team of people around him telling him, think about the sponsors, think about filling the arenas, think about the business. Meanwhile, NXT was like, yeah, fill that Full Sail and you'll be done. That's good enough. Just do hot indie matches. That's good enough for you.
Yeah, and you do takeover, and it's like, all right, no restrictions on these takeover matches. Again, they were on the network. They didn't do real commercials on the network compared to now, where you have to have a commercial every 5 minutes between these matches. So you could just like let them go. Again, there was no real restrictions of time constraints if you didn't want it to be, because you were on the network. Full Sail you were fine with. So it's night and day, because it's night and day scenarios, honestly.
Yeah.
He still screws things up.
Exactly. Jose saying the positives of Black and Gold outweigh the negatives. Sure. I mean, if that was your experience, then good. There was a lot of good stuff on Black and Gold, but also keep in mind, we tend to block out the shit to remember the good things from our past. So I'm sure if you go back and you do a watch of Black and Gold, you'll find a handful of things, at least in those first couple of years, where you're just like, oh, that really sucked. We're getting to the point now, if you're watching like 5 years ago, you're getting into like the Leon Ruff winning the North American Championship stuff, which like some people loved and some people didn't. It was a big shock at the time. Granted, this was also like COVID, so people were, at home, and it was a different scenario, but there was really only 3 years where NXT was really hot, and then they hit the pandemic and everything went down from there. You could argue that, like, God love him, when Karrion Kross got dressed down by Adam Cole, that was like the end of the rose-colored glasses for Black and Gold
Yeah, I
NXT.
mean, the start of AEW was the end for Black
Yeah,
and
sure.
Gold
I'm just talking on their
NXT.
television show.
Right. Yeah, because once AEW started, it was like, oh, this is actually the real hot, quote unquote, super indie out here. Like, not this company. This company is still running 100-seat venues. This company is putting thousands and doing really cool stuff.
Yeah, and like I see Zeno R being like Leon Ruff was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I thought Leon was very entertaining. The way they presented him was like he's a big old dork who happened to win because he was in the middle of a Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano feud. That's how he won. They never really did much with him because then they put him in a triple threat with those three. And guess what? He lost the North American Championship. So it was funny. The best thing Leon Ruff did in NXT, and he'll tell you this, was produce the funniest moment when he put the belt around his waist and the belt fell down. That shit was hilarious. But like he is a great wrestler. He does work hard. No one's going to take that away from him, but he was never taken seriously because he was a skinny dude. He was a skinny muscular dude. And as a result, he was never treated as a serious contender for anything. But yeah, like Jeremy said, AEW came around and that started really changing perspective on what NXT is and the talent they have versus what AEW was starting to bring in and the type of talent that they had. And that was the beginning of the tide shifting. And then the world shut down, and here we are.
Yeah.
Sloppy shops. Speaking of sloppy shops, should we talk about Collision?
I mean, I don't know if it's a sloppy shop.
It wasn't a sloppy shot. I actually think it was quite a good episode of Collision. Yeah. I had the choice. I could have watched TNA Impact, but I chose to watch the non-Nick Nemeth show.
Yeah,
Ryan Nemeth, sorry, I should say.
Why would anybody who has a choice go with that TNA show over Collision?
Because the turkey suit is such a time-honored TNA tradition.
Okay.
Just the way it goes. No, I thought Collision was a lot of fun. I thought it was a really good episode. I thought it had for Thanksgiving episode, they did a lot more than most people would have expected. And a taped Thanksgiving show at that. First of all, Tony Khan at the end of the show being like, LOL, idiots with spoilers. We're better than you. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Tony pointing out that there were a lot of there were some spoilers that went around on Thursday of the event and what had been taped on Wednesday night. And there was one big match that was incorrectly spoiled that a lot of websites ran with and then got conflicting reports. And then finally people got the right answer. But by the time the original reporting had gone out about who won between Takeshita and Roderick Strong, it had pretty much all made it firestorm throughout the social media realm. And the reporting from people who sent spoilers was that Roddy Strong won the match against Takeshita. So several people were very confused when Konosuke Takeshita actually won the match, to which Tony Khan was like, oh, guess you can't trust the dirt sheets. And we were like, oh, people got, but it happens.
Yeah, I didn't even notice the spoilers. So sure.
Well, it's funny because like when we ran down Collision yesterday, I immediately found the spoilers that were posted, and I was like, and I didn't react on the stream. I didn't react today on the show, or yesterday on the show, because I was like, something about that reaction with Takeshita and Strong, that feels not right. So I just left it alone, and clearly that was the case.
Again, I didn't notice the spoilers. I don't even know if I read them or not, because I was like, I don't know, all the matches felt kind of straightforward to me. So I didn't think twice about what the spoilers actually were. So I was like, okay, yeah, I assumed Takeshita was going to win. I assumed Thekla was going to win. I assumed Pac was going to win. I know they could have just I assumed Eddie was going to win. I know they could have like switched it up, and because they did it upsets on Dynamite, so maybe Speedball gets a victory. I didn't think Roddy was beating Takeshita, though. I think they're going to protect Takeshita pretty heavily in this tournament. Yeah, I didn't think much of who was going to win, because I just thought the winners looked a little obvious.
It's fair. I thought that the idea of Roddy beating Takeshita was interesting, but then I was like, well, how would we get there? A roll up, Takeshita gets knocked out by something he wasn't
fucking beats him.
He just beats him.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. I was like, there's no way that we can get there. That doesn't seem weird unless it was like another roll up, which is how, Fletcher beat Okada. I don't know, there was no precedent set, but either way, I can't believe that TK changed the Collision results in the edit. They filmed both finishes.
Yeah, they filmed both finishes.
Really wanted to get that crowd. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it was a solid show from top to bottom. Obviously, the biggest point was the Eddie Kingston match and promo, mostly the promo. I mean, him and Shibata had a good one. They beat the shit out of each other until Kingston got the upper hand and won. And then Eddie Kingston goes ahead and cuts a pretty intense promo that is hilarious because he's like, there's some kids in the audience probably watching tonight or on social media. Don't do it. Don't get into wrestling. Wrestling sucks.
Yeah, that ruled.
I was just like, you're right, Eddie. Wrestling does suck. Don't get into it. And then it was like, the people on social media don't use social media. Social media is awful. Like, yes, it does. And eventually, throughout all of this, he finally gets to the point. He was, I was out for 18 months, and now I'm back, and I'm gonna beat the shit out of Mimosa Joe, and I want the title, and I wanted it. Winter is Coming, and I was like, all right, we can do that. Winter is Coming it's a Dynamite main event. It is a big Dynamite in their year, and this is the one before they go off to the UK. So I don't hate it. I'm glad they're doing it now instead of doing it at World's End. It does open up, if they're going to do a triple threat at World's End, is it going to be a rematch with Hangman and Joe or whatever? But either way, I thought,
God, no.
I don't want to get there. I want to talk about Joe first, or not Joe. I want to talk about Eddie first, because I thought that Eddie's promo was really, really good. I'm not giving it as much justice, but I do recommend going back to watch it. As funny as it was very heartfelt, which is what Eddie does, and he got his way to it. He talked his way into the match, which we expected. Joe and Kingston is happening at Winter is Coming. Hasn't been announced officially, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Thank God they finally gave Eddie Kingston a mic for more than 30 seconds. Why did this not happen much sooner? What the hell are we doing? Why didn't this happen much sooner? I was a little not worried, but is this just like a rah-rah promo at first because you listen to enough Eddie Kingston. I followed his whole journey with the rehab and doing the vlogs with Cesar Bononi and all this stuff. And then he did the sit down with Renee Paquette. So this is all material that I've heard before. I'm not saying it was bad or anything. Me personally, I'm just like, all right, I've heard all of this stuff from Eddie. Him doing it on the show, cool, but what are we going in service for here? So I just had a different lens of it than I think a lot of people did, because I think most people who haven't heard all of this before probably really enjoyed it. And that's not to say I didn't enjoy it, because I did. It ruled. Eddie Kingston's fantastic. Just to me, I was like, all right, where are we going with all this? And then we got to where we were going with all of this. I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Challenge Joe, saying Hook's still my guy. He's got to live with his own consequences. I'm like, you should probably still kick the shit out of Hook. But I understand, instead of kicking the shit out of Hook, let me go after Joe, because Joe is the veteran who should know better. He's trying to corrupt this kid, when I'm telling you, hey, if you want to get into pro wrestling, great, don't do it. But if I inspire you, great. There are great people to learn from and all this. Samoa Joe's not one of those people. He's an asshole. I'm going to cut that off before he can get really started. So I thought the Eddie Kingston promo was fantastic, especially once we got to the point he was going to make. Even before that, fantastic material, fantastic delivery. I view it differently, because I've heard him do the social media sucks, and the don't get into wrestling, and the don't cheer for me even though I love pro wrestling and you love pro wrestling. I don't deserve any. I've heard that so many times from Eddie over the last 18 months as he's been working his way back from the knee injury. I'm glad it was finally on television, because it should not just be me listening to this stuff when he's talking to Caesar, talking to Renee, everything. He should have gotten a mic a long time ago when it comes to this, instead of Big Bill, send location, LFI. That went nowhere, right? Let me just team with Hook randomly. Let me just do random matches against JD Drake and Anthony Hinton. I don't need any of that stuff. Give me Eddie Kingston with a purpose, a point, and something, and a real feud to sink his teeth into, because Eddie Kingston is a top 2%, 1% promo in the entire wrestling world when it comes to selling you on a fucking fight, and that's what him and Samoa Joe are going to do. They're going to fucking fight, and it's going to rule. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this match. I said it on the Hook turn. I was like, oh, okay, so we're getting Joe and Eddie off of this. Great, sign me up for that. Do I think that they could hold this off until World's End and do it there? Yes, I do think you can build it up until then because Joe's good enough. Eddie's good enough. Now, what does Joe do in the meantime? Because you're not going to burn through another Swerve, or you're not going to burn through another Joe and Hangman match. We've already seen that twice. You're not going to burn through Swerve and Joe on a Dynamite special. So doing Joe and Eddie on a Dynamite special as opposed to World's End does make some sense because you're probably going to do, I guess you're going to do Joe and Swerve at World's End. I don't think you're doing Joe and Hangman again. I wouldn't do that. Maybe you do a triple threat match, but I don't know. We'll see where they go with World's End. But I'm all for Eddie and Joe. That's my whole point here.
What does Hangman do if it's Swerve and Joe?
You run back Hangman Hobbs. You run Hangman and Hook because Hook's the one who cost Hangman. Maybe you do Eddie and Hangman against Hook and Hobbs in some form. Like, there's some options there because the ops have people. So Hangman can face one of those people. Now, does Hobbs and Hangman, like, they had a great street fight. Like, I'm kind of for that. I think that's a great match. You know, does it feel main event level? No, but it's not supposed to be main event level. It's not going to be the main event. It's supposed to just be a big match on the show, and I think it can be a big match on the show. I think honestly, the bigger question is, what are you doing with Hook on this show? Because they're trying to make Hook. At least I think they're trying to make Hook. And you got to have him do something big here. That's why I think Hangman and Eddie against Hook and Hobbs might be the best option here. Grace is saying World's End 6-man, Eddie, Hangman, Swerve against the Ops. All right, what do you main event the show with Continental Finals? Like that have to be the main event.
If it's Takeshita Okada, then you can argue that's a main event for a pay-per-view.
I mean, I don't care what the Continental main event is. That's the main event over the 6-man tag.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it isn't because I get it that it could be a 6-man tag for the trios titles.
That's not a main event. I'm sorry.
It's your biggest guys, or at least the 4 of your biggest guys. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to put this together.
I'm telling you that 6-man tag match is not a main event. The Continental Classic would be the bigger main event because it's not going to be, no offense to these people, the Continental Classic Finals, spoiler alert, is not going to be Mike Bailey against Mascara Dorada.
How dare you?
You're not main eventing with that. It's going to be some form of Darby, Pac, Takeshita, Moxley, Okada, Fletcher. Any combination of those 6 guys is like, okay, yeah, this is a main event style match here.
It's going to be Moxley and Takeshita. That's what it is.
I don't think that can be the main event because they are in. Yeah, it can actually because Top of Gold faces Second in Blue and Top of Blue faces Second in Gold. So theoretically, it could be Moxley and Takeshita, even though they're in the same league. So okay,
sure, or Moxley and Okada. Either way, whatever I said on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think you said Moxley and Okada.
I probably did because Okada is still the Continental Champion.
Yeah, you just change your mind on it.
No, I'm just gonna change my mind 100 times until we get to the finish. I don't care. No, I'll stick with Moxley because Moxley's all like, "Yeah, we're winning again. We're the guy. We're undefeated. We're winning." So who knows? Maybe Moxley's gonna rally the troops and they're gonna win the playoffs. Jeremy, it's time.
His promo, I did like his. Well, I mean, he kind of cut a promo, but it was more or less he was just on commentary. Yeah, I thought it was good. Moxley's fun on commentary. He was a little lost early, but he picked it up.
I would prefer this version of Mox this week versus we talked about last week, where he was on commentary and he had just lost just lost Blood and Guts, so it didn't really make sense for him to be on commentary for 2/3 of Collision.
Yeah,
chopping it up and having a grand old time. It made him look kind of stupid, but this was a lot better. It's one match too, and he had something to talk about. That was an actual, like, he won and his team's winning, and his boys are doing well, and Marina's in the semifinal for the tag title. So like there's something for him to be happy about and cocky about. The week before was a little like, why is he out here doing this? But anyway, we'll see what goes on with the Continental Classic. And I don't know what the World's End main event, they've got to sort it out sooner than later, because they got to start promoting that Road to World's End.
Yeah, they do have to. Yeah, that's true. Actually,
it's gonna be very funny when like none of the matches get announced and the Road to World's End airs, and people are like, okay, so here's the card for World's End.
It's just like a Continental Classic review for...
It probably will be, to be honest.
Whatever. But the Continental Classic is not even going to be over by then, so... just reviewing what's happened thus far.
Probably.
Yeah.
Andrew Zarian, come join the show. You have nothing else going on. It's Friday. Anyway, yeah, Pac and Speedball
has always welcome.
That's true. They had a good opening match. That was fun stuff. And Pac wins with the Brutalizer, and Bailey just falls asleep. He had his Thanksgiving meal, and he was a tired boy.
People got dropped on their fucking head on this show. Pac had a German suplex on the outside that looked brutal as hell, and Takeshita hit Roddy with the Blue Thunder on the rail. I was like, oh my god, both of those looked like they sucked so much. Not surprised Pac won, because I think they're building him obviously for maybe taking over the ops, so I understand they're gonna make him look strong, and not surprised Takeshita won either, because he's the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and he's gonna lose at some point during this tournament, but it's not going to be to Roderick Strong.
No, well, who knows? Could be.
What do you mean it could be? He literally beat him last night. They're not going to face again.
Go on a tear and then suddenly rematch somehow. Sure, mathematically it could happen. There's always a way.
You're basically banking on Roderick Strong to finish first or second in the group block and then make the finals. So
there you go.
Theoretically, it could happen, but
go on a tear and he could just take over the Kyle O'Reilly spot. Let's go.
Are you stupid or are you done?
I'm working Final Battle.
Final Battle?
We're talking about Mercedes.
It can be Final Battle. Stop it, Joel.
Crowd saying Joel doesn't care. Well,
Yeah, you're making it seem like you have no interest in the Continental Classic. Do you have interest in the Continental Classic?
I rarely have interest in any sort of tournament style.
In wrestling?
In wrestling, that is also true. When the stories start to flesh out more, I get more invested.
The stories are being fleshed out.
No, I'm talking in the tournament. As the tournament goes on, that's when you start to see things start to play out. And as those start to play out, I get invested. When it's the beginning of a tournament, you have story ideas that people talk about and that they're starting to hint at, but there's nothing that has happened to get you there.
But there is.
What? Moxley's on a losing streak? Not anymore. He won.
But that was the story going into it, is that he was on a losing streak, and then yes, he did win. The story with Pac is that he has been winning for the Death Riders.
And he won again.
Could he kept this up? Yes, but this is all the story. The story with Takeshita is Okada hates this man and doesn't want to team with him, and is now upset that, Takeshita has a victory in the tournament and Okada does not have a victory in the tournament. There were stories going into this tournament,
great.
And after the first 2 nights, there are stories coming out of it.
Great. And as it continues, I might pick up my interest. As of right now, nothing has happened other than matches. You can tell me this is happening, but it's like, it doesn't.
I am.
I know you are, but it's not getting me overall excited for something that hasn't happened yet. Other than 3 matches, 4 matches.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're not excited for it, you're not excited for it. Fine. I'm not going to tell you to be excited for this stuff. But let's not pretend that, there aren't stories going into this tournament and coming out of the first 2 nights of the tournament. Because there are.
Yes. Things did happen and people felt ways about it. And as the entire tournament plays out, there will be further stories that become part of it.
Okay.
Okada still has the belt. Well, listen, I've been conditioned by AEW to only care about the belts.
This whole tournament's about a belt. So there.
Right now, nobody's making plays for the belt yet because there's only been 3 matches. I can't care about the belt that nobody can obtain until the end of the month.
Stop it.
They're a month away from going after the belt.
Stop it. They're all going after the belt now as part of the tournament.
What's Ricochet doing with that new belt?
That segment sucked. That was fucking terrible. That sucked. Okay, they beat up Dalton Castle and the Outrunners, like, cool, I guess. Even though I like Dalton Castle and the Outrunners. I like MXM, but like them just coming out and losing every week, it's very Max Caster. And at least like they're doing something now with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, but it's all right. You guys come out, you're a bunch of dorks. I'd rather just them do like a bunch of funny vignettes than just get their asses kicked every week. And then the Outrunners, like, that's a cool team. It's fun, but they're at where they're at in the thing. Yeah, I think we're gonna get Ricochet and Dalton Castle as well at Final Battle. Like, fine, it's set that up. It's a whatever. Like, I like Dalton Castle. He's presented where he's presented in all of this. It just is. The country singer stuff, that was fucking horrible. Like, Michael Ray, I don't even know who this guy is. I looked it up. He's not released an album since 2018. He's not released like an EP since 2023. So we're 2 years since he's even like put out any relevant music. He got no pop, none. Exactly. No pop on this. And then Ricochet's trying to fight him and he gets shoved and then they got it. Like, this was so stupid. Like, when WWE does the celebrity stuff, a lot of it's not really great, but to their credit, like, they use celebrities, you know? Like Cam Scadabo is one of the top rookies in the league. That got a lot of attention because he was also injured. Jelly Roll is one of the top entertainers, whether you like his music or not. That dude gets attention, and that dude has a fan base. Bad Bunny, most streamed artist. Logan Paul, huge person on YouTube. Like, when they get celebrities involved with these angles, at least they're using like legit celebrities when it comes to this stuff. Who the fuck is Michael Ray? This sucked.
Who the fuck is Michael Ray? I know you gave me I'm like, who is this guy? Is he active on socials? Michael
not
Ray.
that I really seen too much. Like,
he's from Florida too. He's tweeted November 10th. The cool fall weather is my favorite time of year. Hunting, bonfires, leaves changing, and football.
This segment sucked. You like, don't do this unless you have an actual name to use. Because even if, let's say you bring back Michael Ray, which I don't know if they will, he is adding nothing to your show. Literally nothing. The AEW fans don't want to see this. They don't want to see the Michael Ray stuff because they don't like the Big Boom stuff. At least Big Boom is a legit wrestling fan, and much like WWE, he has a fan base. Now, whether or not that translates into them watching wrestling, I don't know. I've said that I don't think it does a whole lot, at least in the WWE sense. Maybe Big Boom does get you some extra attention and viewers when it comes to because they put that stuff on the pre-show, so it's fine. But it's just the AEW fans don't want to see Michael Ray. I don't know if he's a wrestling fan. Even if he has no real fan base. Maybe he does, and I'm downplaying the importance of Michael Ray out here. But this dude hasn't released new music since 2023. It's not like he's some relevant ass artist. Like, who is this guy?
Deer season is just therapy and camouflage. I have had a great hunting season so far, with some big wins and one that got away, but that's life. Lot of great times with great friends at camp. November 9th. This
segment sucked. His shove was so weak, and Ricochet like stumbling back in that way too. At least when Scadabo shoved JD McDonough, like, he put some force into that. and and JD like actually sold it, like he put some force. Ricochet just like stumbled back like he was just like walking backwards and accidentally tripped over a toy because the shove was so bad. This sucked.
Maybe when I'm older, I'll be able to finally pronounce acai correctly. Shrug emoji, crying emoji. February 27th.
You can keep reading his tweets.
We hear our own voices more than we hear any other, so speak positively to yourself. Hands folded emoji. March 1st. Waking up early, spending time with God, and setting my intentions for the day has been a game changer for me. February 26th.
This sucked.
Looking for anything. Oh, here we go. February 17th. Excited about things that are coming. Can't wait to share. Hope y'all are having a great start to the week. Hands folded emoji. Fist bump emoji. The most vague tweet of vague tweets. And then he tweets about Super Bowl and God, and he's a country artist. My God.
This sucked.
Here we go. The first wrestling thing he ever replied to or tweeted about. Dustin Rhodes, November 16th, 2024. Dustin tweeted, "Thank you for allowing me into your homes and lives. You have treated me well. I love y'all." To which Michael Ray responded, "Legend." It's just no reason for him to have been there. You could have put David Arquette on the show, and instead you put
that would have at least ruled. At least David Arquette's a former WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
So much more to do. Someone in the chat, stop, please.
My wife has called these fake cowboy affirmations.
It sounds exactly like that. Yes, it does. Oh God, such awful stuff.
This was a terrible segment, and AEW should be ashamed.
Wow. We should have Tony on just to ask him about this segment.
I will ask him, who is Michael Ray? Did you know, like, who decided to do this? Because you got swindled.
Someone was doing a favor for somebody else. That's all I could think of. Oh, man. Mark Briscoe came out after the Daddy Magic and Daniel Garcia match. And he basically said, screw you. I'm the TNT champion. You suck, and I'm going to beat you. So it'll be Garcia and Briscoe somewhere down the line.
He said he was going to devour his ass.
As one does. Like deviled eggs. Hold on. He says, because just like I'm about to go right and finish off this plate of turkey, I'm going to devour these deviled eggs. I'm going to eat 4 or 5 of these deviled eggs. I'm going to eat some macaroni and cheese, baby. Then I'm going to dust it off with some pumpkin pie and some whipped cream on top. Just like I'm going to devour that delicious plate, I'm going to devour your ass, young boy.
He sounds like me last night. I devoured me some deviled eggs. I devoured me some pumpkin pie. Devoured me some mac and cheese. Devoured me some rolls. And then devoured my wife's ass.
Jesus Christ. Set up. Everyone knew it was coming. Where's Michael Ray's Twitter? Just for that, I'm finding one more. Just for that, I'm fine. Here we go. Hold on. These all suck. Why do these suck so bad? Hear me out. What if we put the tip option on self-checkout? I feel like we should be getting something for our time and labor. May 4th, 2024.
What? So does he want to be tipped for doing self-checkout?
What is he doing?
He realizes, like, it's his money. He's tipping himself? This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, he was there last night to show you. Oh my gosh, amazing. Oh.
This sucked.
Yeah, there's nothing else that I can use to top that.
This sucked so bad.
Oh, it was not good. Anyway, Michael Ray. All right. What else happened on this show? We talked about that.
Bang Bang Gang.
Bang Bang Gang won FTR. This is a very World's End card that they are going to be putting together.
Yeah.
This is a end of the year card. This is their final resolution.
And Bang Bang Gang and FTR is fun. Like Bang Bang Gang did beat them, so it set it up. I like the promo. I didn't love the promo. I think a lot of people enjoyed the promo much more than I did. But I did like the fire from Juice and Austin Gunn. And again, it was a good setup to the match. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Bang Bang Gang should have said we won $200,000, and then we turned around, and gave it back to Tony, and said, "Give us a title shot." You should be able to see the money. It's a bribe, but it counts.
They beat them, so they didn't need to do all that.
I know, but then they said they did a lot of things. They won $200,000, and now they want their title shot.
Oh,
this is what you do.
My wife is coming with a knife. I feel like she's gonna stab me for comments I recently made.
Probably should have. Not gonna take away from that. Also, remember the 2 weeks when Juice Robinson was serious? He was going to be super serious, Juice Robinson.
Yeah, that didn't last long, and honestly, it's probably for the best.
Probably for the best. Shaved his beard and was like, "I'm going to be serious," and it was like, "The hell you are!"
Yeah,
great times had by none. Oh man, and
like I do feel a little bit bad because like I do think he had intentions of like wanting to be serious, but I think he's better being this version of Juice Robinson than being serious Juice Robinson.
Yeah, people are saying like it's going to be FTR and Bang Bang Gang in 2023 was a banger. Like I'm not taking away from the fact that it could be a very good match. It's just funny ways to get there. It's like they beat them on Collision going into the pay-per-view, and now they're going to get a title shot because they won $200,000 the next night. Like,
yeah, at least they've won some fucking matches.
Yeah, like I'm not taking away from that. I'm like, it makes sense. It's fine. It's going to be a good match. So it's just a funny way to get to it because, yeah, I hate bangers. That's right. But you know what? There are titles on the line, so I am instantly invested. I have been conditioned.
Are you? Oh, that's true. You did
I have
mention
been conditioned
that you do
to
like
only
titles.
care about the titles.
Yeah.
That is what I've been told. Thekla defeats Ty Mello. Big shock there, I know. And then at the end of it, the Sisters of Sin show up and they triple team Thekla, or they triple team Ty Mello, and then Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander make the save because Anna Jay didn't want to come to work, I guess.
Yeah, they kind of made it a point to like not mention Anna Jay either.
It says after the match, the Sisters of Sin came out to continue the beatdown on Mello, knowing full well that Anna Jay wasn't in the building.
Okay.
That is a sentence on allelitewrestling.com and their Collision write-up.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. If they say so.
Well, they brought
They'll
it
mention
up.
her on the website. They won't mention her on commentary.
It's like Danhausen. He'll be at GalaxyCon. Will he be at Final Battle? Anyway.
Was it said on commentary? I apologize then. I just missed them talking about it. It didn't feel like they referenced Anna Jay quite enough, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah. And I assume Chris and Thekla at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's a good match. I like that. Thekla's been kind of rolling, and Chris is fantastic, so
yeah, they've been kind of building towards it before Blood and Guts.
Yes. Sorry. I was looking at something.
I was also getting something at the same time. Yeah. And Roderick Strong, he beats Konosuke Takeshita. Don't believe the spoilers. Don't believe the TV show. Roddy won the match, not Takeshita. Roddy won. If we say it enough times, Roddy gets the 3 points.
All right. They're saying that she got mentioned on commentary several times. I wasn't paying enough attention. I can fully admit that I did not hear it enough. I thought
she was in the scapegoat bus. We haven't seen Jack Perry since the victory.
Okay.
Or I
okay. So again, they were saying that they mentioned on commentary several times. I missed it. My bad, everybody. Okay. Again, I can admit that I missed it. So my fault.
Where's Jack Perry?
Jack Perry should have been there. I agree.
That's right. He lost the match. Instead, you had the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega being the people on TV the next night, or 2 nights later, 3 nights later, 4 nights later, whenever the show was.
Yeah.
Wednesday night. Anyway, Takeshita lost. That's what you need to remember. Takeshita lost the match. Roddy Strong won. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And this was a good match all the way up until Roderick Strong got the pinfall on Konosuke Takeshita.
That was a great match. Takeshita continues to be the best wrestler in the world, and Roddy Strong also absolutely rules. So I know that there was a lack of story for Joel. So I'm sorry for the lack of story in this match, Joel.
Well, the story was Roderick Strong was going to get that big victory over Konosuke Takeshita and get his 3 points. And, until Takeshita yelled back, go back to the trailer park, and Roddy went absolutely psycho and won the match. Yeah. Roddy Strong wins again. That's all I got. And that was Collision. I don't have any more Michael Ray tweets. I put those away.
Thank God.
I can't even keep that up because I got sad at the last one. The self-checkout. Why are you going to tip yourself with the self-checkout? Do you mean get some money back for doing the job?
Just give yourself $1 for doing self-checkout.
I guess, but like 15, like if you pay 15% sales tax, like maybe get 5% back for doing self-checkout.
I don't know. Let's get Michael Ray on the show and ask him what the hell he's talking about.
I definitely don't want to do that because he doesn't have any projects to promote. What's he going to do? Talk about showing up on Collision?
Yeah.
And then what are we talking about after those 3 minutes are up?
His tweets.
I don't want to do that.
Well, then I don't know.
Uncle Doc sent a super chat earlier saying, are WWE better off without TKO? It depends what side of the argument you're on. Are you on the fans side? At which point the answer is WWE is better off without them. If you're on the I like making a shit ton of money side of things, then TKO and WWE are a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it depends on, again, what's your thoughts on are all of that? Like, they're making a bunch of money. They're doing well with everything. The product is like fine. You know, there was good stuff like last year and everything and the years prior. If they don't have TKO, then it could be the same thing, honestly. So I don't know if they're better off without TKO. They're different without TKO. Better off? Who knows? Because who knows what that looks like, too. You know? Like, it could look the exact same, except they don't have as big of deals, because I do think TKO helps them get kind of bigger deals. So it could be bad, it could be good.
TKO,
I don't think there's a real great answer for that. I'm sorry.
But there's also there was no one else that they could have sold to that would have been as mover and shaker. Selling to a company that didn't own television was a better deal than selling to NBC Universal, because WWE never really envisioned themselves as oh, we're just a TV brand. No, they saw themselves as a multi-level marketing, and I do mean it that way, type of brand where you could put your stuff everywhere and get away with it and make tons of money off of that. They were the circus. They were never TV. So as a result, going to a place like NBC Universal, where they're mostly trying to put you on TV and put you out in media spaces, that wasn't good enough. Whereas what TKO does is their talent agency. For all intents and purposes, they come with a bunch of executives who came from the talent agency world and were willing to put you out there. So they're out there. They're out there on multiple platforms. And I think that for that, it is the perfect place for them to be. And then, of course, you can make the conversation about Ari Emanuel and Vince having a relationship of their own, and Vince getting to keep his job at a time when he shouldn't have been keeping a job, and all the things that come with that. That's another lawsuit that is currently in deposition mode right now. So that we don't need to get into. But no, I think TKO, the way that it's played out, is probably the best situation for WWE in its new ownership role. Or in its new ownership world, if you will.
They could have sold to the Saudis.
Did we ever figure out if the Saudis were truly on the table? I think jokingly they were, but I don't think they really ever fully made a play for it. Or if they did, they were one of the people coming out of this deposition that are part of the
Saudis. I think the Saudis are always on the table. They sponsored the Turkey Trot in Colorado. Did you see that?
No, but I'm not surprised. I mean, We talked about this. They have their hands in everything. They're trying to purchase a stake in WBD. I said on another show, it's only a matter of time until they have their hands in an actual U.S. media consortium of some sorts.
Yeah, they're going local now, sponsoring like local turkey trots in different states. So, $5,000 of Saudi money goes to like the winner of the turkey trots. We'll have to. Denise did a turkey trot yesterday. We'll see if the Saudis sponsored Denise's turkey trot.
Wow, Denise getting that Saudi money, I guess.
Yeah, some people actually dropped out of the turkey trot after they learned that Saudis were sponsoring. So they have morals, you know.
Yeah, and again, the people that were in play, we've known about a few of them. None of them, at least as of now, officially came out as being Saudi interest. The PIF was never directly named as a potential suitor for WWE. I don't know what they would have gained from it, other than just keeping Vince in power. Nothing would have changed.
Yeah,
or at least very little would have.
Yeah, I mean, keeping Vince in power would have been the biggest thing.
Yeah, so
which largely happened in TKO anyway, until he
I think
turned out to be a horrible person.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Jimmy had the right idea at the time, where he was saying they're doing it to keep to acquiesce Vince and keep him happy, to sell his stock and to sell his business off, and then slowly but surely something else will come out that will oust him and will leave all shareholders with no doubt that he doesn't deserve to have the position, and that's what happened. Eventually, the lawsuit came, and that was like, well, we're done. This is like, Vince, you're out. That's persona non grata to TKO.
Yeah, but
that's changed.
It also came down to like getting money. Like that's what all this stuff comes down to, because they voted to put him back in after the original stuff came out, after the hush money and the misconduct allegations. Like, yeah, he left, but then he got put back in because they voted him back in. And then the Janelle Grant stuff came out, and like, I don't think he was going anywhere then until sponsors started threatening to pull out. And then it became like, oh, okay, we're losing sponsors over this. Yeah, you got to go because you're fucking up the money.
Well, yeah, that's what it was. Once sponsorships came out or threatened to pull out, like Slim Jim did, that was the beginning of the end. That was actually the only one in the end. Because once Slim Jim, whatever the deal with Slim Jim was from a financial standpoint, that was enough for TKO to be like, oh, this is too much. We gotta get this done now. We gotta get him out of here. And that was it. And now, little by little, he had sold off his stock that he still has a large shareholding. He doesn't have the power that he had when TKO was established.
Yeah, because I mean, he doesn't have power anyway. He's not like,
he's been stripped of all that. Yes.
Yeah, so he just has the shares, and why not sell that stuff? You can't take his money with him.
And like Donk is saying in the chat, future Super Bowl in Saudi Arabia, that is inevitable. Every other sport you think about has been moving an event to Saudi, or the Saudis are being major sponsors for an event.
I don't know if they're gonna get a Super Bowl. That seems, I mean, maybe. Like, it's not like it'd shock me at this point, but I would hope the NFL is like, yeah, we can't do that. We're not doing that. Like, this is an American thing. Like, Super Bowl belongs in America.
We're gonna find out.
It's all because then you also gotta like think of like travel and everything. Like, you gotta go. Like, they do the international games and whatnot, but they meticulously put out like the schedule for those. Now, could there be like a regular season game over there? Yeah, I can buy that. Sure. But a Super Bowl is like, yeah, I don't know going full on Super Bowl out here.
It took WWE almost 10 years. So it took about 8 years until we got a WrestleMania go to Saudi. And it was something that people immediately in 2018 thought was a high chance of happening before 2020 at that point.
WWE has less moral convictions than the NFL.
Well, somehow that is a factual statement.
Yeah, I'm not saying the NFL's high or anything, but they have less than the NFL. There is a 2-week gap between the conference finals and the Super Bowl. Yes. Here's the thing though. The Super Bowl is more than the Super Bowl. And I think everybody knows that. Like they do all the, like everyone comes to this thing. Like everyone comes to this thing. They do the media row, they do the radio row, like they rent out buildings for all the media. Like you can't get that kind of like coverage when it comes to if you hold the event over in Saudi. Like you can't do all of those things because you're not traveling, you're not flying everybody out there, because it's not just the people who are in the Super Bowl who go over there. Like players from every team go to wherever the Super Bowl is held to promote whatever they're promoting, to just be there and everything. Like there's way more that goes into it than just, hey, here's 2 teams playing. So I don't think it's ever going to happen, which means it probably will. Like the NFL is terrible. I'm not saying the NFL is a morally great company.
Yeah, we're just making comparisons to a very low bar.
There's that, and there's also like, yeah, the NFL owner is undefeated in March, sure, but you've also got to think like there are owners and there is like a players association, and there's way more that goes into it than Nick Khan, who just says, "Yep, let's do the Saudi deal," because that's what it is in WWE. It's, does Nick Khan want to do this? Yep, okay. Who's gonna tell him no? He's the president.
Yeah, there's no ownership team involved in this decision. Nick just says yes, and then you get to work.
Okay. Nick Khan's the president. Who's going to tell him no? He basically has final say on this stuff. There might be other people who are like, I don't think it's a good idea. Like if he wants to do this thing and they're getting enough money, they're going to do it. The NFL is a little bit different because owners can be like, no, we're not doing this shit. Players, because there is a players association, they actually have a say in some of these things, can be like, no, we're not doing this shit. Like, so that's what I'm talking about. Like overall, morally, yeah, they're both pretty bad. But there's a lot more that goes into this one decision than, hey, let's just do the Super Bowl over in Saudi because Roger Goodell wants to do it. I don't even know if Roger Goodell wants to do it, but he's not the only decision maker in this process. Compared to WWE, they have one decision maker, and whatever his morals say is what it's going to be. You guys are saying like owners won't say no to more money, but more money overall here also means they got to pay the players more money, and they don't always want to do that. So again, there's just way more that goes into this. And okay, the owners might not say no, but there's still a players association, and if the players say no, what are they going to do? They're like, well, too bad. No, that's how a strike happens. You're not going to play with scrub players. We've seen that before. Doesn't work too well. You're going to have a lockout season over a Super Bowl in Saudi Arabia. You're going to have a lockout over that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
a scrub rule though.
let's tank our entire season because the Saudis want to pay us $500 million. The Replacements is a fantastic movie. The Saudis want to pay us $500 million for a game where we already get $300 million. Let's tank our entire season for that. That's dumb.
Yeah. So first of all, like you said, there are far more hurdles from one side compared to the other. WWE is one hurdle, and with the NFL, there were plenty more. Whether that's it's got to go up to Goodell. It doesn't start and end with the commissioner. You do have to deal with the ownership. You have to deal with the players. You got to deal with multiple sides of the coin, so to speak. But I do like the idea of them saying yes and having to do the Super Scrub Bowl live from Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Scrub Bowl.
And like I was saying, like Ryan mentioned, like players go over there, celebrities go over there, all these media outlets go over there, go to wherever the Super Bowl is. If they go to Saudi, then I don't know how that's going to change. But yeah, players doing interviews, doing Super Bowl media, someone will probably say something wrong over there, and like it probably won't end too well. But I don't think if they do the Super Bowl in Saudi, like you would do all of that. You have all these. You have everybody fly out to Saudi just to do these interviews and everything. Like,
I mean, the internet is an amazing place now where you can do interviews. You can do media row there.
Do media row in Saudi?
In Saudi, but on the internet. In other words, like the talent are there, but everyone else is back home conducting interviews. Kind of like COVID, honestly.
That seems stupid to just fly all the players out there to just hang out. I mean,
There are a lot of stupid.
that's how
things.
you sport wash everything. So sure, but
There you go.
yeah,
I don't know. I
Just don't see
tend to
it.
agree with you, but I think long term, and this is in 15, 20 years, this could be a different conversation. We could be having the conversation in 5 years that it's in talks, but it's not going to be next year. It's not going to be the year after that. It could be just something that comes up over the next little while. Like you said, if they play a game, an exhibition game of any kind in Saudi, then we could be opening up the doors to
I don't even know if it's an exhibition game. I mean, they're doing an exhibition
regular
game with like Tom Brady and people.
Aren't they doing
So
that as part of his like flag league though?
yeah, but it's still like an exhibition thing. So I think you could see a regular season game. Legitimately, I think you could see a regular season game over there at some point. Super Bowl is just is just a much different beast.
Uncle Donk following up saying Saudi hosting WrestleMania before the UK is a slap in the face to the UK fans. UK has been one of the most loyal fans, just like Canada. Well, if the UK government wants to shell out several $100 million, then the UK fans will get to be as passionate as any other fans. I give it like at least when they've been going to Saudi the last little bit. Yes, listen, the reason financially that they are getting it is not good. The fans that go, the Saudi fans, the actual like human beings who are there, who are not fully in support of what's going on, they react. They have fun. I will give the fans that. They deserve that.
Gotta pay. That's what
it comes down to. That's why
Gotta
Vegas
pay.
got it and not New Orleans. That's a whole domestically you want to speak on this situation. It happened here. It happened in the US. If you're willing to pay, like Winnipeg could do it. They could get a pay-per-view. They just got to pay.
Gotta pay. Yep.
Yeah. Toronto gets it because they have a long-term deal now with MLSE, the biggest sports franchising whatever in Canada. So as a result, WWE will be in Toronto much more often. Well, not more often, but WWE will continue to show up in Toronto for events that are not just a house show.
Yeah.
What is a house show really in 2025? It's a thing that happens abroad, and it's a thing that happens at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Anyway, SmackDown tonight. It's been taped. So,
Well, what was your moment of Thursday, Joel?
Eddie Kingston promo. I thought that was probably one of the most passionate promos he's cut in a while. Like Jeremy said, it's the first time he's been put in a ring with a microphone and had plenty to say. So I'm excited to see the match at Winter is coming between Eddie Kingston and Mimosa Joe.
Mine was 3 Ryan Nemeth matches at midnight on a Thursday/Friday.
Doesn't it feel good to be alive on Thanksgiving with Ryan Nemeth?
3 Ryan Nemeth matches for Thanksgiving. Imagine you spend like all that time with your family. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go home and I'm going to enjoy some wrestling tonight. For some reason, you can't find AEW, or you've watched AEW and then
you watch it with your family.
You're like, oh, there's more wrestling at midnight. Oh, can't wait. And you get 3 Ryan Nemeth matches.
Not 1, not 2, but 3. Was there a story with all 3? There was a story with 2. One was a turkey bowl match, and then he came out in that turkey costume and he defended the honor of American Thanksgiving against Christmas. And he faced Krampus, not Chris Kringle, not Krampus, who was a TNA wrestler dressed up in the costume. No, a wrestler from Florida named Krampus who does this all year round. Then the third match, I forget what it was, and it doesn't matter anyway.
It was an 8-man, wasn't it?
Probably an old 8-man because Nick Nemeth wasn't working that weekend anyway.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they didn't do any like live matches, but yeah, I think it was an older 8-man tag.
I think the
3
funniest
Ryan
thing,
Nemeth matches, folks.
someone had pointed this. What is going on?
What
My
do you?
wife set off the fire alarm.
Why'd she do that?
I assume she's baking bread, and when we do that, we got to set the thing at 450.
No, you're
And
gonna
then
upset
it's
people.
really hot. She's fine.
Bread is not a side.
No, rolls are not a side. Also,
No, I am being slandered for this roll stuff. Because if you go back, you guys talk about put words in your mouth and nitpicking one sentence or one word and everything. That's what happened to me yesterday. Because I initially said bread. which could mean rolls, which could mean cornbread, which could mean whatever type of bread you might have as a side. And then everyone took it as rolls, and that's it. SB3 posted his plate yesterday. Pretty sure there was some bread on the side there. Did you not have cornbread on your plate there, SB3? I don't know. I can't see. I'm blind. But people have bread as a side for Thanksgiving. I was trying to include all bread, and people just got stuck on rolls, and then now I'm being slandered over rolls being a side. I'm very upset about this.
I'm gonna go back and pull up this photo. Think I was really paying attention? I'm American. I'm not an American. There's Kimmy's. Oh, here we go. There was no bread on his plate.
No.
There was no bread. I see stuffing. I see mac and cheese. I see veggies. I see potatoes. I see the turkey. I see I see everything. There was no bread. Sorry, pal.
Fine.
Kimmy also had no bread on hers.
I still get slandered over Kimmy's plate. Was like there was like two things on there.
3 things. It was like corn and gravy and corn.
Yeah. I still got completely slandered over. I was trying to say all bread, and people took it as just rolls because I also mentioned rolls.
Are you trying to say all bread mattered?
You don't say cornbread is a side? That doesn't count?
Is this an all bread matters conversation?
I don't know.
Do we have to start a hashtag?
I'm highly upset over people slandering rolls and not all of bread.
What about forward rolls?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What is stuffing 95% of? You know? You can count stuffing as the bread as well. Because that's largely what it is. I was trying to go all bread.
Always bready.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you.
Are you either of those two things?
Me?
Are you Latino or Italian?
I think I'm part Italian.
Oh, amazing. We have the Italian side is on my wife's side, kind of.
I think I'm part Italian.
We have Latino is also on my wife's side, more so. It's a long story. We don't need to get into it. Anyway, yes, the SmackDown is taped tonight. Enjoy that. Survivor Series is this Saturday. You got 2.
Jey Uso wins.
Oh my gosh.
The Miz is the mystery opponent. He loses to LA Knight.
Yeah.
The MFTs win, and LOL Charlotte wins.
I'll be live with Phil Lindsay on Saturday night after the War Games show.
Yeah, because Sean didn't want to book Cresta and I.
Well, Cresta was medically unavailable for the show, you monster.
She would have done it from her deathbed like me for taking too much melatonin, and we both would have just been in the hospital. But for the sake of doing the show and for delivering what the people want, Cresta and I would have shown up.
Well, there you go. But yes, Phil Lindsay and I will be doing it. The not even the battle, the partnership of the 2 best morning shows Fightful produces. One could argue that Grapsody is a morning show and that they air at 9 a.m. in the East Coast, on the West Coast, right? The West Coast,
yeah,
9 a.m. on the West Coast.
Yeah.
If they start early on a for some reason, then they start at 11:59 a.m. Then they're a morning show on the East Coast too.
Yeah,
do that. Never happens, but it could. Anyway, Phil and I are going to be hosting that show. Men's War Games match, you got Punk, Rhodes, the Usos, Roman Reigns against The Vision, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar. Women's side, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, and AJ Lee take on Nia Jax, Last Legend, Kabuki Warriors, and Becky Lynch, John Cena, Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship, and Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella for the Women's World title.
I think it'll be a good show.
Yeah. I think it'll be a serviceable show. I think it'll be perfectly fine. Cromulent, if you will. Will they add another match? Now you froze. was right at the answer to the question. Will they add another match? It was like, nah, forget it.
Oh.
Do you think they will?
Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of think they'll add an Ilya Open challenge. That's my guess. I could see the MFTs and the Wyatts potentially being on the show, but I think an Ilya Open challenge might be the better call here.
This will be a spot that you will see during a War Games match in which a baseball bat is used, or
Unsigned.
they will not. You can't sign the bat. Don't try to
Yeah, I
sign
know.
the bat.
That's
It's a
what I'm
weapon. No,
saying.
it's unsigned. Unsigned bat, and then you can't. If you catch the bat, if it's a broken bat single, you cannot bring the broken bat to wrestle any WrestleCade, WrestleNomics, WrestlePalooza. You can't bring it to any event to get signed because you can't bring the bats. But yes, you will see a baseball bat in use at this event.
What if Alexa Bliss turns? Alexa Bliss gamer. Will you be sad? Will you be happy? I don't feel like you'll be indifferent, so I'm not going to ask that.
I feel like indifferent because a turn just means she's still on television, and that's all that they want.
Yeah, but no, come on. Alexa Bliss gamer is more invested than I want to see Alexa Bliss.
What if her
on
new gimmick
television.
is that she becomes a gamer? She starts
Ooh.
dressing in like gamery clothes. She starts walking out with a
Sweats.
bag of Doritos. She walks out with a bag of Doritos and a Mountain Dew. She's late for every match because she's finishing her big Fortnite.
Oh, he said Alexa Bliss gamer saying I'd be indifferent because that leads to Alexa joining the Wyatt Six.
There you go.
Yeah.
The only
But would she need to turn to do that? Like she's kind of already like Wyatt Six are babyface group, I think. So
I don't think they had it. Shades of Grey, pal.
I
But
guess
like,
so.
even on the men's side, I thought up until lately it was going to be Jey Uso, but now Jey Uso is part of this "my last time is now" thing, and he's probably going to face Gunther in the finals. So probably not going to be Jey Uso turning.
Yeah.
Maybe Jimmy turning does nothing for anybody.
Here's what I would do. I'd have Cena in the. I know they won't open the show with Cena, but I'd actually open the show with Cena just to make this a better point. I'd have Cena in the second match after the women's War Games match. He loses, unfortunately, but he loses the match, and then it would go backstage, and oh no, Jimmy Uso has been injured and taken out. So unfortunate that Jimmy Uso can no longer compete in the men's War Games match. And then who's the fifth man? John Cena. Get John Cena in this damn match. I don't need Jimmy Uso in this match. Sorry, Jimmy. Get John Cena in this match. He can lose to Dominic, doesn't be the champion anymore. Get him here. Put him in the War Games with all these people who we all want to see him wrestle.
I'm all about it. Let's do it. Then John Cena can win the War Games after he loses the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, he should beat Brock Lesnar because
Why not? Get his win
dumb
back.
as hell that he didn't beat Brock Lesnar.
Fine by me. Listen, if we're gonna book it, let's book it properly. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any turns. Like I just don't see a pathway. I can see AJ pinning Becky and that getting them closer to doing the one-on-one match between Becky and AJ, possibly for the Intercontinental Women's Championship, unless Becky wins the Women's World title sometime between now and then. I can see them trying to use that as a conduit through which you can get there. But on the men's side, it's like both world champions are already there, and Roman Reigns already said, "I'm going to face look better with gold on my side." And like, who are you talking to? Oh, it doesn't matter. So it is what it is.
Roman should turn.
Turn what?
Turn and realign with Paul Heyman.
That's true. But then it's going to be Roman and Barack working together.
I'd rather them work together than work against each other. I've seen that shit enough.
I've been told that we should be excited for this, Jeremy.
Oh.
WWE Socials told me get excited. First time in forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too
so
bad.
get excited for that.
No.
Logan Paul's going to turn babyface again and then turn heel by the end of the match. That's what they're going to do. No, the only like potential turn is like, well, maybe Braun Breaker turns babyface, gets jumped out. That'd be stupid.
I mean, they've already dropped the ball with Braun Breaker.
Boy, have they ever.
He should win this match, honestly. He should be the one to like look as strong as possible and win this thing.
He should pin Punk.
Great, I'd be all for that.
Yeah, why not? I feel like it'll be Logan Paul somehow with beating CM Punk so that they could do that. I think that match is happening in Saturday night's main event. If it's not then it'll be on the first Raw of the year.
The Saturday night's main event is
It
NXT
doesn't matter.
people.
It's not all NXT people, Jeremy.
It's supposed to be. That's what John Cena said.
They will do 2 of those matches, and then the John Cena match is 3, and then they'll do this CM Punk and Logan Paul world title match. Almost guarantee it. And then they'll do the last time is now losers multi all-star tag.
I don't like any of this.
Neither do I, but that's what you're going to get. Not the all-star tag, but you'll get Logan Paul beating Punk, AJ Lee beating Becky Lynch. And yeah, that's how you're going to get a couple stories out of this.
Who on the heel side, Uncle Donk, does Charlotte always beat?
Think about it.
Kind of all of them, but in big matches, who does Charlotte always beat?
Who could it be? If only there was a Royal Rumble that we could take this from, and a WrestleMania. Maybe one that happened in New Orleans.
There's a new Charlotte Flair shirt that says "Top Girl."
No,
Like a jet. This shirt.
I mean, like most. Oh yeah, there it is. That's an interesting design.
Do you want to pull it up?
Do I ever? Yeah, I'm not even going to overlay it. I'm just going to put it right here on our. I'm just going to pull this up here. Share screen. This is the shirt. Woo!
Charlotte should stack everybody and then prove she is the top girl.
Cinematics asking, "Do we see blood?" I doubt it. Unless it's someone gets hard weighed. I doubt it.
I think we see a little. I don't think like they go. It's not gonna be blood and guts style, but
No one's gonna.
I feel like Cody's gonna bleed because Cody's just gonna be like, fuck it, I'm gonna bleed. What are they gonna do to me? Fire me?
I think Cody wants to, but I don't think he's gonna bleed. Anyway, yeah, that is the new Charlotte shirt.
I think there will be blood in the men's match. I don't know about the women's. The men's match, I think we'll see some blood.
Yeah, maybe accidental. Will Io Sky pull out the trash can?
Yes.
That should be a gambling spot that you get to vote on.
Yeah, you wouldn't get good odds on that because I feel like it's gonna happen.
No, just put in a ton of money and get your 20 cents back.
Like they released a T-shirt with the trash can.
So ridiculous.
It's much better than that Charlotte shirt.
Yes, but we got to get away from that spot. It's been 5 years of doing that spot.
Gets a pop, brother.
I guess. Anyway, is there anything else that we need to talk about before we get out of here?
I don't think so.
We got to do that last thing we do.
What did we accomplish today, Joel?
If you're an angry, angry man, you can get a world title shot. If you wear a turkey suit, you can wrestle 3 times in one night. And most importantly of all, if you work a baseball stadium, bring baseball bats. You might win.
The biggest thing we accomplished today is Joel continues to hate AEW and doesn't understand that there are stories going on in the Continental Classic, and it's also about the title.
I like AEW just fine.
Results from our poll question, most looking forward to at Survivor Series. We have 12% at Vacker and Bella, 18% at Cena and Dominic, 30% at the men's War Games match, and 39% at the women's War Games match.
They're all excited for that trash can.
As they should be.
That's
As
right.
they should be. Yeah, we did accomplish learning that Michael Ray has an awful Twitter and no one knows who this guy is, and that segment sucked.
Yeah. Low bar, but we did it. Anything else to plug before we get out of here?
J-Dub is back. I'm excited.
Yes.
0-0. That's all I can really go with there.
All right, then. All right.
In
Busy
honor
weekend.
of... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's a busy weekend, and we got to do the Friday tradition.
Well, in honor of Survivor Series...
Oh, you got me, brother.
Well played.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. 'Cause this is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go. God damn. That's good shit. I swear it gets stronger every week. Fuck.
You're just not ready for it.
I don't know. Like it. This and apparently melatonin is gonna be the death of me. Just my heart's just gonna explode.
Well, hopefully not before next Monday, where we come back at 10 a.m. Eastern to do what we do.
We're on main channel on Monday, aren't we?
Oh God, we are, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, I'm on main channel on Saturday to talk about this. I think I'm going to New Wave Wrestling on Sunday. That's the promotion that Jody Threat in the school that Jody Threat owns, along with
Right.
a bunch of others. I think I'm going to go to that show on Sunday. Check that out and talk a little bit about it on Monday as well on main channel. Yeah, why not? Because it'll be a fun time. Contract news coming to Select today. Something that well, I don't think a lot of people expected, but you'll want to
Brown?
see. Anyway, for Jeremy Lambert, say it again. Monty.
The hell?
Remember,
Why'd you cut yourself off?
You remember the Sean?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Go subscribe to Fightful Select. That's my last plug. For Jeremy Lambert, you know who he is. You know who I am. Main channel Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern. And we're here all the time, 10 a.m. Eastern. So leave a thumbs up on the way out. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.